My business is Challenge Online Learning. First off, I would like to thank the panel for sharing your time with us tonight. We're going to probably be here for ending up 4 or 5 hours, so greatly appreciated that you guys could spend your evening with us, as well as the hour and a half you spent with us earlier in the semester as we came in class. So the reason that I chose Challenge Island, Challenge Island is a franchise, and I have some exposure to it. I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old daughter, Madeline and Olivia. Madeline will be going into 3rd grade, and for grades 1 and 2, she took a couple of these extracurricular learning classes, I guess what you might call them. They were after school. One was called Mad Science, and the other was called Younger Enrichment. And the Mad Science, for instance, would focus on doing science experiments after class and interacting with the kids and learning a little bit more about science in kind of a fun and creative way. And she would come home from those classes that she would have once a week for an hour after school and wouldn't stop talking about it. And as I interacted with her, a lot of the things she was doing in that class was what I was doing in the regular curriculum class when I was in 1st and 2nd grade. And so that prompted me to answer, what are you, so is this the same thing you're doing during the school day? And she's like, no, not really. And, so what are you learning during science? What are you learning during art? And like the obligatory student, she said, I don't know. And it was much the same reaction that I had when I was a kid, but usually it was just because I didn't want to talk to my parents. But with her, I think it's truly she doesn't know. And so I see that there's a huge problem right now as it relates to our educational system. And essentially what we're doing is we're starving our future. For the last 5 years, we've seen the deepest education cuts in K through 12, education funding that comes from the state. The most deepest cuts occurred in 2012. These cuts unfairly affect school districts with high poverty, and it's also led to the shedding of teacher jobs in 10 of the last 12 months. The shedding of the teacher jobs means that the class sizes are getting larger as opposed to smaller. And with the larger classrooms, there's lower quality learning. Specifically, when we talk about Kansas, the per student spending from fiscal year 2008 to 2013 has decreased by 13.2% per student. That translates into $745 we are spending less on students in the state of Kansas relative to what we were 5 years ago. So why the concern? I definitely say that there's a problem, but it's not really a problem unless others perceive it to be a problem as well. Despite the fact that we as the public are demanding cuts in government spending and paying less taxes, we as parents are still demanding high performance. Parents and civic leaders realize that high performance in schools will generate future bright stars and productive workers. Businesses in the U.S. are facing diminished growth. There's a lack of creativity within our workforce today. A workforce that creates new products, new services that grow and drive business. Students are dropping in achievement. Education policy experts believe that more student time and more time in the classroom can lead to higher achieving students. Other countries are raising their standards. Finland, Japan, and South Korea all spend 197 days in the classroom compared to 180 days in the U.S. So on average, a U.S. student spends 17 days in the classroom less in a year compared to those 3 countries that I mentioned. And when you extend that out over a 12-grade career, that's almost 1 more year of education that they have more than we do. Students are also losing out on enrichment activities. When I went to school and when my peers went to school, we engaged in field trips and did all sorts of enrichment activities that contributed to our book learning. And those just don't exist today because of the budget cuts. So what do we do? Well, one thing you can do is add hours to the school day. And that's not going to happen. You know, most school districts are trying to figure out how to cut hours to the school day. Because with the current schedule, they don't have enough money to pay teachers and staff to support those hours. Obviously, we can add things to the school year, but once again, the same problem is what we have with the hours. It's not going to happen with the cutting of the state funds. Increase learning time by 30%. Same problem as the first two issues. Isn't going to occur because that requires more state funding. It will require an increase of 6% to 20% of school expenditures to increase the learning time by 30%. And like I said, it's probably not going to happen in the current or future environment. Hire more teachers. Once again, drive down class sizes, encourage more qualitative learning. Isn't going to happen in the current funding environment. Engage in enrichment activities. Once again, requires more student funding. Government's not going to pay for that, so it's just not going to happen. So my solution is the challenge on becoming a challenge on franchising learning. It's the only model of its kind in Kansas City. There are currently other models, Mad Science and Young Rembrandts, that are sold as after-school programs. But Challenge Island would be the only one of its kind in Kansas City. It's based on the reality TV show Survivor. So the students are presented with challenges that stretches their skills in terms of math, science, and technology, and gamifies it so that they're competing with the teams against other teams in the class to gain rewards and status. It's a cool, creative, and whimsical goal. A lot of the projects range anywhere from building a roller coaster to navigating shark-infested islands to inventing a new ice cream. So it really challenges them to be creative and use some of the basic skills along with their creativity in a team environment. It's a fun, exciting opportunity. It strengthens and builds on kids' learning and cognitive muscles. It's somewhat, you can look at it the same way a mountain climber looks at a mountain. A mountain climber looks at a mountain and sees it as a challenge, and he looks back and he sees that he conquered that mountain and feels a sense of achievement. The Challenge Island gives programs and curriculum that present the same type of achievement to students. It's an open-ended question. There's thousands of solutions to the problems presented at Challenge Island. The students are presented with a problem and a challenge, and it has an infinite number of possible entries. It's a child-driven journey. The teacher just acts as a facilitator. The course or the challenge is really dictated by the children's imagination. Challenge Island uses cooperative learning. Students are actively engaged and therefore going to learn more when they're actively engaged in the course. It's a student-centered versus teacher-centered. As I said previously, the students drive the curriculum and the teachers are just there to facilitate. The students feel less intimidated. They're working in a team environment, so there's a lot of cooperative collaboration. When they're less intimidated, they learn more. And then the students foster social skills. In the course of working through the curriculum, they build team skills and social skills. The Challenge Island, it can be anywhere from a 4-week to a 6-week program with 1 day a week, 1 hour after school, and each week has a different theme. So for instance, they have Ice Cream Street, Egg Drop Cliffs, Float Park Beach, Straight White Bridges, Roller Coaster Ride, Treetop Powers, and Tinfoil Falls. And each one of those is a theme that focuses on a particular subject in science, math, and technology, and they're presented with creative solutions to come up with creative solutions centered around the theme. The Challenge Island program has over 200 lesson plans, and each one of them encourages them to use the scientific method. The Challenge Island incorporates the Challenge Island totem pole, which is understand, brainstorm, build, test, improve, retest, improve again, and share. And I picked that slide because it was very much like a lot of what the Lean Startup taught. I found it very interesting that Challenge Island has a lot of principles that are in Lean Startup. Challenge Island uses Bloom's taxonomy. There's a hierarchy of learning with creating on the hiring. And Challenge Island encourages students to be on the creating end of the Bloom's taxonomy. The competition, as I said earlier, there was math science. Math science features 7 courses over a session that cost $79. And then there's Young Rembrandts. It's focused more on art, and it's 6 classes and costs about $60 per course. Prospective territory is Lenexa and Overland Park, the Shawnee Mission School District. Demographics. Currently there are 23 public schools and 13 private schools in the prospective territory with an average family income of $106,000. And my target demographic would be grades 1 through 5. And within grades 1 through 5, there are currently close to 60,000 students in that demographic. Projections. Year 1 will target, there's a possibility of having 4 sessions per school year, and with 20 students per class and $60 per session. Given the length of the school year, you would be able to fit 4 sessions in the school year, and within year 1, I target on 3 different classes, and that could be in 3 different schools, or it could be 2 classes in 1 school. One class would consist of 1st graders to 3rd graders, and the other one could be 4th to 5th graders. And then in year 2, bump that up to 5 classes, and then in year 3, 8 classes. And then also the franchise incorporates a summer camp model, where you can do a week-long class and accommodate about 25 students per class. Other opportunities for growth include birthday parties. It has programs for birthday parties that can charge anywhere from $175 to $325 a party, and then purchase another franchise. The initial franchise costs $17,500, but if I wanted to do the Blue Valley or Lake School District, that would be another $10,000. And then in-school field trips can also be offered, where the Challenge Island curriculum is taught during the school day for $250. So that's it. Questions?
Could you go back to your format?
Sure. Okay.
So your expenses include labor?
Yeah. My model is based on hiring teachers to basically to facilitate the class, after school. And it would be $50 per class, or if they were to do so they would do one 6-week session and be paid $300.
So is that the $3,600 in year 1? The $6,000 in year 2 and the $9,600 in year 3?
Yes.
So at the end of year 3, you're netting $23,000 on this franchise. Is that right?
Yeah, based upon an initial investment of $17,500 for the franchise fee and then $250 for the franchise software.
So this is a lifestyle business and/or labor of love?
Definitely lifestyle labor of love. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't plan on putting my day job for this.
And you're hiring the teachers
Most of the management will be in the startup, so initiating a relationship with a principal and school administrators, because ultimately I'm going to rely on them to sell the program. So that's part of the franchise model, is they work with you on selling the program to principals. So most of the time will be setting up that relationship and laying the groundwork. After that, it's basically the teacher needs supplies, I get the supplies that she needs or he needs, and facilitate it that way.
Are these numbers from what your research spoke to, these numbers pretty standard for Challenge Island franchise?
Yes. It's based upon the recommended fees that they have. They currently exist in California and in the Southeast, and it's consistent with the pricing that they have there.
Real quick, so the cost of the course is what, $68 or something?
Yeah.
And that's per session?
Yes.
And so this is going to fit in their after-school program?
Yes.
Are you concerned at all about the fact that it's based on survivor mentality, and at some point, well, all the kids with one will be identified as a loser?
Yeah, no, it's within the curriculum itself, it has a survivor mentality. You have teams, you have challenges, but in the end, everyone wins, everyone gets a medal. So it's not, that's where it ends with the survivor mentality. It's not cutthroat like the real TV show.
So does the franchise model help the teacher through the classes and having the structure and the teach?
Yeah, the curriculum, as I said earlier, there's 200 different lessons that can be taught, each one roughly 1 hour long. And they were developed by a teacher in the Southeast who just loves making these type of activities. And it's the curriculum that I see is really a roadmap. The teacher has a clear roadmap of what's expected and what he or she has to do, and they just kind of have to follow that roadmap. And really just leave it up to the kids to really drive the content.
So this can be sold to the individual schools, elementary schools, through the principal, or
Yeah.
the PTA, or
Yeah. I see. Definitely, we have to develop a relationship with principals, as well as through the PTAs.
You mentioned two competitors with Mad Science and Young Brain Grants. How are those facilitated? Are those in the school?
Yes. Yep. Same type of thing. Both of them. Someone will approach the principal or the school and say, "I have this program I would like to sell to your students. I'm going to hire a teacher to facilitate the class," and it's presented the same way. The company collects the fees, so there's no management from the school standpoint other than making available a room, which I have built into there. It's part of the cost in terms of renting out a room, but just more so making available the space and allowing the access to the kids.
Do you have any idea what their current penetration is in this marketplace?
I know Mad Science pretty much has every school district in Kansas City. They've grown quite large. Young Rembrandt, I believe, just has Shawnee Mission. I know I mentioned them as competition, but I don't really view them as competition. Mad Science is more strictly science, making a volcano that erupts or that type of stuff. Young Rembrandts is obviously art. The Challenge Island is more team building skills, centered around math and science. One of the drawbacks of Mad Science is it attracts primarily boys. One of the drawbacks of Young Rembrandt is it attracts primarily girls. Challenge Island usually has a good 50-50 mix of both boys and girls.
Great presentation. Just waiting for it to ask the judges and try to limit their questions to one, Brian. So that we can ask the questions. I love this space, and I built and sold the business here already. So my question, with Keith in mind, is when you say you get to buy a franchise, what's the territory? Do you get the Kansas City market, or do you get part of the park?
Right. No. The initial territory that I'm looking at is Lennox and Overland Park. Basically, the entire Shawnee Mission School District minus Shawnee. Conceivably, I could buy the Blue Valley School District for roughly the same price, and that's something that I may consider. They have what they call Discovery Days, and once a month they have prospective franchisees and owners come out and learn more about the business. They keep a lot close to the chest. I did speak with someone with the company, and they did provide me with a lot of information. But they have demographic information on all the school districts. And I think that that's one thing that I would like to do is actually go to Discovery Day and learn a little bit more about the Kansas City market, particularly the Blue Valley School District. Because I think that there's probably a lot more opportunity than the Shawnee Mission or the Olathe School District. But that's not to say that I start out in one school district and I invest then in the Shawnee Mission and the Olathe. I would hope that I would have first right, once I'm in the Kansas City area, that I would have first rights of refusal if someone else were to enter in the same general area. So while I told Brian that it's a lifestyle, it would definitely be a lifestyle. And for the first 3 or 4 years, I definitely see that. But I see it as having the potential of going beyond lifestyle. It just all depends on how this space continues to grow and how much parents recognize the need to enrich their children and how much more the state continues to cut in education.